think in the interest of time, because this is a regular council meeting, that we have residents submit questions in writing, and we'll have the sewer district, our good buddies here, respond to them as they have numerous times before. We'll go through them at the agenda review. This is just the first read. So in the interest of time, I would ask that we maybe postpone or just have them put them in writing.
You got Barbara who challenged weather today, and no air conditioning here. And we go through almost 12 items.
Well, I'll tell you what, since it's the first reading, we can do that. My thing is, why don't we set aside, well, a lot of them came up, since they're here, they shouldn't have to keep, they've been coming here for 2 years with us. Why don't you open up another 10 minutes if you have any questions, let the questions asked right now. Okay. All right. I mean, that's a suggestion. The practical thing, we got all three of them here. They've been coming here off and on for 2 years. If there's other questions while they're here, let's give them 10 more minutes. Let the public get theirs in, because it's going to impact the public and impact everybody sitting up here. So my suggestion, granted, if you're open to that in the regular council, and the other council people, let's open up for 10 more minutes. I can make a motion, give them just 10 more minutes to ask questions and let the three respond. You got the experts here. You feel comfortable with that, sir?
I actually don't, because this is a regular council meeting. If we saved it for a committee meeting, we could send it to the committee. We could send it to the agenda review. This is the regular council meeting. So, I mean, we open it up to questions. And I want questions. Don't get me wrong, I want questions, right? But I think we can do it in a different way. Instead of opening it up here, and they'll come back out if need be, or they can just respond to them. Yeah, they can respond to them in writing. And then that way we have it in writing. We can read them at the agenda review instead of taking the time at the regular council meeting to do this.
So let's please, Omaze, please.
No, I want Omaze talking.
Okay.
Everything cool? Everything cool? Come on.
I'm flexible and I'm willing to compromise. I just say from a common sense standpoint.
So make a motion and take a vote.
I move that we give the public 10 more minutes to ask questions and let the three individuals from the Northeast Ohio School District respond while they're here.
I second.
Okay.
Second. All.
Councilor Martin?
Yay.
Councilor Thomas? Yeah. Councilor Graham? Yeah. Councilor President?
Yay.
Councilor President?
Yeah.
Thank you. So, Mr. President, let them come up and let us ask questions, because we need to resolve this thing.
If you want to say it, they give to Mike a question.
Come on.
Okay. Come up to the mic.
I just got two quick questions. One being that the maintenance process, is that written into the contract that you have to respond within a certain period of time of what you have to do, and does that last for the perpetuity of these basins? That's the second question. Traffic management during the construction phases. Are you responsible for managing traffic and making sure that the city is aware of the traffic patterns and in and out of the trucks and whatever is going to be working here?
Short answer is yes. I think for the details, Allison knows how the maintenance and traffic process is.
Yes, the contractor will have to apply for the city permits, and we'll have to submit the maintenance and traffic plans if they haven't done so already. We just issued the construction notice to proceed 1 week.
That's good enough. I don't want to take up a lot of time. I just want to make sure that has been part of it. Okay, thank you.
Hello. I was listening to some of the things you all have been saying, and of course I've met with you before. I still have some of the same concerns. While you were talking, you said the water can be as high as 3.9 feet. I'm not even 6 feet, so that's more than half of my body size. And I want you to understand from a mother's point of view, a parent's point of view, when we take our children swimming, we look at the size of the pool. You have the splash pools, which are on Salvation Army that's coming. We're fine with that. It's safe. But when you're talking about 3.9 feet of water, at about 125 days out of the year, which takes about 24 hours sometimes to drain out, that brings up an issue. The other issue had, like I have said before, you guys didn't come to the schools and you knew you were going to be there. You did not come to us. We found out about it after meetings had been held. So to me, it's kind of, I'm worried about this. It feels like it's underhandedly done. The basins being fenced, I heard you say 48 inches. What's the spacing in between? The spacing between the fences, the bars, or whatever, or is it a solid fence?
It's a decorative,
wrought iron fence.
Thank you, decorative wrought
So
iron
that
fence.
typical spacing, I'm not sure what it is, but on any wrought iron fence.
And then another concern that I have with the council included in this, who is going to be responsible for insurance purposes if there is any incidents?
Liability will be on
Total
the
100%.
100%.
Any kid gets hurt, any adult gets hurt, any senior citizen gets hurt, or anything, you guys are going to take full responsibility. The city is not going to get any negative news media from it or anything. You got to be kidding me. You got to understand, East Cleveland is very unique. You should know that because you have people that stay here. And when you talked about you live next to one in Columbus, how many kids stayed in that apartment complex?
Countless.
Do you have children
No.
at that age? So you wouldn't understand what I'm talking
There was
about.
I understand
in my
exactly what you're
opinion.
talking about, man. The basin that I live next to in Columbus, first of all, will have more water than this one. The water is there at all times. It's basically like a pond. It wasn't fenced in. And in the 3 years that I lived there was no one drowned, no one died, no one was injured. You have to understand, like when we're talking about this level of water, you know, this is 4 feet of water. And again, the numbers we're giving you in terms of the 240 days out of the year, those are statistical, okay? So basically what we're saying is that the vast majority of the time, the basins will be dry. I understand it's, you know, you're thinking worst case scenario as a parent, which I can appreciate, but the vast majority of the time with these basins, they're dry. And that's why when Jeff speaks to the ones that we have in other locations that aren't fenced, it's because they're not a safety hazard. I'm appreciative of your concern with the children and all that, but the children are in more danger in a pool than they will be with this. I mean, there's not going to be water there.
Some pools are less than 3.9 feet. Some are
3.9
like
feet.
3 feet.
Is
So
the
you
absolute
can't
maximum
say
that the
And
water
I'm
will be
scared
there.
to put certain kids in that.
I understand. The 3.9 feet is the maximum that the water will be once in, however, 5 years. And it will draw down within a short period of time. And again, I say just real quick, when it's at that level, it's going to be pouring down raining outside. So I think the likelihood that a kid would be there is very minimal. Again, that's why they're not
Did you
fenced.
just see the storm the other day?
Yes.
It can happen anytime.
Yes, but were there
And
kids
you-
out playing at that point in time? That's what I'm
I'm not
saying.
going to go back to that because I don't want to take up all the time respectively, but you did say 240 days out of the year, which
Will be-
leaves 125 days.
Right, but the average depth will be a foot.
Right, okay.
I'm still,
Right.
The average depth will be a foot. That maximum ponding depth, 3.9, will be in that once every 5 years, statistically speaking.
that's not what
Okay.
you said at first though. So now that we ask questions, you put in more.
I don't think we've changed.
Just like you
those
guys
saying the
did
same
not
thing
come to
before.
the school board, but I'll
Well,
leave
and
it
we-
alone.
We did meet with the school board as
We
well.
also-
I've seen you
Right now.
before, and I met with your school board president prior to that.
And I'm still not satisfied.
Well,
But
I'm
I
sorry.
thank you.
You're welcome.
East Cleveland, a former councilman